4,000 feet, speed 180 knots, 1 double jingle.
Hey guys, it's Fly Lissa and
flyGIRL Kelley.
And today we have an extra special guest on Cockpits and Cocktails. We have Macy Dan. Let it slide, I know we're okay. What's up, Macy?
Hello, good morning. Good to be here.
Yay.
Yeah, I'm so excited to have you guys today. It's a good morning. The sun is shining. It's a perfect fall day. So
it is. I agree.
Macy's in Florida, right? So
it's beautiful in Florida. Sunny and 75.
Yeah,
we
nice.
Don't hate you.
Well, Alyssa, Macy, and myself, we go way back.
We go way back to like a whole last weekend.
Yeah.
Nashville.
Such a history.
It was so a privilege to meet you, and I can't wait to dive into all your things because I didn't want to ask you all of these questions before because I wanted these like raw, awesome like results of what you like to do, what you do for a living, and how you wind up meeting us in Nashville.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's good, yeah.
You know, I invited Kim Hanover, the Flying SIC on Instagram, and to this fly-in that a friend and I were putting together to try to get some women involved in aviation together, just to have a good time and maybe go fly around a little bit. And she said, could I bring a friend or can a friend join us? And I was like, yeah, Sure.
We welcome all the girls.
Yeah.
And
well,
some
first,
of the boys too.
Is she cool? And she's like, yeah, no. And I had no idea. I didn't know anything about you, you know, what your story was, what your connection was with Kim and Christopher. But it was really nice to meet you. And you're like a young, you know, breath of fresh air. And you just had this. I was telling someone actually earlier today. They're like, so who are you doing this podcast on? I was like, well, she's just like this young, very charismatic woman that has done a whole lot and is mature in a way that, I mean, I have a 21-year-old and you're a little bit ahead of him, I would say, in maturity. And I just thought you were so impressive. And the more you talked about everything that you do and that you've done.
You have a girl crush on Macy.
I know. I was like, this girl is amazing.
I'm flattered.
Macy, how old are you?
I'm 24.
Oh my gosh, I don't even remember that age. I don't even know what I was doing then. I wasn't flying. Second, what do you do for your job?
So for my job, I promote avionics equipment. So I get to talk about my hobby all day long while finding people, you know, the best solution for their avionics panels. And sometimes I'll sit on calls with people for a couple hours and we'll just talk about, you know, what is the best solution for their aviation needs and for their panel. And so it's really fun to bring something like that together, and we're both excited at the end, and I have a blast with it.
Yeah. So you have your region is like from Florida up to Canada or something, right?
Yeah, so I cover the whole eastern region. All the way up through Ontario and down through Miami. So wow. I have a huge territory, but it's
you do.
I get to meet so many people, and it's I really just Avadyn brought me on with open arms as a new instrument pilot who was fresh out of college, and they believed that I could be a good asset to the team. And I always appreciated the confidence they had in me, and I just appreciated the team there. So
yeah. So how did you wind up? Okay, so Avadyn I actually had Avadyn in the Piper Archer that I owned before. It was like a glass panel, the PFD and the MFD. That's what I had. And I thought it was really easy to use, super intuitive. And of course, I mean, I've used Garmin products as well, the G1000. And I don't know on either one of them, I'm sure I did not learn everything that these things are capable of. They're just because they can do it like everything. But I thought it was cool, and I never really knew that there was actually a career or a job where someone goes around and talks about this equipment. So tell me how you got this job. Where did it all come from? And then what do you do specifically?
I mean, I've always been just obsessed with aviation, and I loved learning about anything not of my own invention. So as far as when I started flying, I didn't know a whole lot about avionics. And so diving into it, just learning about it was really interesting to me. And I came across an ad for Avadyn that they had a job opening. So I immediately reached out and got in contact with them. I thought it would be just a really cool way I wanted to pursue a career in aviation, but I didn't necessarily want to go to the airlines, but I wanted a career where I could talk to people in aviation daily and be able to just learn more about my hobby too, and as well as being able to help other people with it. And so that's kind of how I got started. And now I am the dealer rep for the area. So I go around and help the dealers, learn about the Avadyn products. I'll bring on new dealers, and so the existing ones, I'll help them bring the product to market and show them what it's capable of. So I just kind of go ahead and help them. And
yeah. Do you try to encourage, are the dealers trying to sell customers the products, or like are customers coming in looking for products typically, and you're just trying to give them the right tools in order to inform them what they kind of need to say and what they need to show and highlight?
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of the customers, they come in and they know what they want. A lot of them have gone in and studied the products. A lot of them have talked to my partner is Joe Conte, and he works more on the end user side. And so a lot of times he's already talked to these customers and kind of just showed them what the product does. And then when they come into the dealers, and the dealers can just, especially if they're comparing two products, they'll just, I help them be able to list, what it does and help them bring the product to market and be able to show the customer that. And so just so they can get the whole picture, so it's really just about finding the best product for each person. It's not, you don't want to sell somebody the wrong product. It's not trying to push the sale onto somebody, because you don't want somebody to end up with avionics that they're not,
that I don't like or
part of in their airplane. So that's really what we try to do.
Cool process that you get to work with the dealers. And I mean, do you work on the customer end at all? Do you have people reach out to you, or do you just kind of show them a dealer that might be able to help them better, or how does that work?
No, I definitely work with the customer. So, social media has definitely been a large impact through Facebook, even Instagram, just having customers reach out and just saying, hey, how does this work? And so I'll get on a phone call, and it's called the IFD Trainer. It's a free app. And so I'll get on a phone call with them and just go through the unit and show them how to put in a flight plan and show them how easy it is. That it doesn't have to take 10 minutes to put in a flight plan. It can take 20 seconds. So just kind of go through and help them learn about it.
So your day, I'm assuming with COVID, it's kind of been kind of crazy, but it sounds like you would need to travel a lot. You have a lot of ground to cover, a lot of relationships that you're trying to build with the dealers. What is like a typical month supposed to look like for you? Are you in an office ever and working on figuring out the new products, or are you traveling like all the time?
So it's changed. It's evolved. I was in the office, and now as I really have gotten a handle on the product, now I work remotely, and then I'll plan trips, usually Monday to Thursdays or maybe Monday to Fridays. And an example was going up. I did Alabama and Georgia the other week, and just flew up there and drove and went to multiple airports where I had a dealer at each one. And then I also will pick out some new places that I go into and just see if they know about Avadyn and just try to help them learn about it and see if they're a good prospect to be stewards of the Avadyn product.
Yeah. So do you fly yourself, or is that something I believe we talked about was a goal of yours? Like,
That's
where
a goal
are you
of mine.
you're flying? Okay. So what are
Definitely
you? You're instrument rated, and you're working on something right now. What are you working on?
Yeah, so I'm working on my commercial right now. Not necessarily that I need it for my job. I just my own curiosity. I want I want to just make myself a better pilot. So I'm working towards my multi-engine commercial, and have a couple hours.
Yeah. You'd like to ultimately have your own plane and fly to some of these dealerships and visit people? Yeah.
That is the goal. Just because I feel like it would make me better at my job too, being able to go show the product, and if somebody has a question about it, say, come on, get in, we'll go test it out, and we'll go fly an ILS into here, and you can just use the product. And I think that would be really useful, and it would also save time, and I would be able to
by Macy Brand.
Yes. That sounds so cool. I think that'd be really, really fun. Are you do you have any idea what kind of airplane you'd want to buy?
Oh, I've been looking at a few different things. I've been looking at either an older V-tail Bonanza. I have a lower budget, so also looking at some of the Pipers
there,
and
though, like the V-tails you can find, especially if you're wanting to upgrade the avionics to Avadyn or something. You can probably buy something.
Kind of a cool thing about airplanes. I feel like there's such a broad range of what people can get an airplane for. They want to spend a lot, they can, but you can also get something airworthy that, for less than a lot of people think. So it doesn't need to have it doesn't need to be like top notch, everything brand new in order to do what you want to do and still have fun, Yeah,
no, not at all. I'd actually rather have something with not an updated panel so that I can put Avadyn in it.
Right.
And I was just thinking, I was like, I could just see Macy Dan flying around in like a breezy or something. I think it would be like, I mean, not for like your job, but I could just totally see it. Like, very adventure.
Yes. Now, do you go to like Oshkosh typically and air shows and things like that and work a booth or something like that?
Yeah. So our whole team goes. We go to pretty much every show when they have them, excluding 2020. But we're at pretty much all the shows.
Yeah.
And how long have you been with Avadyn?
I've been there almost 2 years now.
Well, are they hiring? Do they need another associate?
They're always looking to hire. Avadyn is it's still growing.
Bad cop.
No, that would be so much fun. No, I love working there. Everyone I work with is. Yeah, what's up?
The question I had was, do you ever what is your direct? Usually the big thing, but who is your direct work competitors, or do you guys talk? Do you have good relationships with other companies, or how does that work?
Yeah, so we actually work with a lot of different companies. In an avionics panel, it can be really diverse. So, I mean, whether it be Aspen or Dynon or Garmin, we work with everyone, and our solution is really to integrate and to, for each certain plane, there's so many different things you can do, and it's really just whatever's going to work best for the customer. And so we're really open to working with other companies too.
Some of the things that were impressive to me about you were all the different kind of things you've done. For a 24-year-old, you've done a lot. And I do believe that's kind of led you probably to what you're doing and why you enjoy it and why you're probably, I would guess, pretty good at it, because you're really personable, and I know you need to be that way in order to form these relationships with the dealers. So what would you say, okay, some of the things you've done, you've lived on a boat, correct?
I did, with my father.
Yeah, and you've lived in Alaska.
Yep, was up there, and I actually, I worked at a fly fishing lodge called Brooks Lodge in Katmai National Park.
Yeah.
And you
currently live in Florida, but didn't you live in like Australia or something?
Yeah, so I went traveling Australia for a little bit, and that was very fun. That was after high school. It was one of those things where I was not ready to just go straight into going to college and living in a dorm. So I decided to just take it online and and work from there.
Did you complete your whole college experience or degree or whatever online?
Yeah, so pretty much. I only did 1 year actually at the school, and then the rest of it I got a totally online degree from University of Florida.
Wow, that's cool.
So,
very unconventional life that you've had. So what do you think, how do you think all your kind of background played into leading you to where you are? And you also have some very interesting hobbies. I'm thinking like
mountain shooting. That's my weekend hobby.
Yeah, talk about everything that you do and why you think that's made you what you are and put you where you are today.
I think that just, growing up in my unconventional life has just really just opened my perspective of, what you're able to do, that it's not, you should enjoy what you do every day. And I think that was the most important aspect that I've learned from, whether it be traveling or out on a boat in the sea for 2 months with no cell reception, or just having a hobby that I do every weekend where I'm happy doing it. I'll go fly or I'll go ride a horse, and I just enjoy what I do. And I think coming into Avadyn, everyone I work with is so diversified in their aviation careers. I mean, it's people from the airlines that work in helicopters, veterans who are just detailed techs and engineers, and then there's me, who's a marginally intelligent pilot who likes to have fun with it. And and so I just enjoy it, and I enjoy talking to people, and I think that's really why I fit into this career.
Yeah. I wish I had known a lot that you see, like when I was 24, I wish I'd known a lot of things that I feel like a lot of young people go after things that they think will bring them a lot of money or a lot of like notoriety or popularity, or it's kind of what their parents want them to do. And it sounds like, and this is the vibe I got from you, like, what makes you happy. And that's what you want to spend your time doing, that you've made a decision. I want to enjoy life and I want to do things that I like to do. So I think that's so cool. And I wish, more people would live their lives that way.
No, I think it's definitely just and it's who you spend your time with. It's all about the people you spend your time with. I mean, my mother.
Surround yourself with those people.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, my mom and dad, they're some of my best friends, and they live their life that way. They've always have, and that's why I've gotten to go do so many fun things. Is because we all do them together, And it's
So that was how both of your parents were.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
My mom is. We do the horses together, and then my dad, we sail and travel, and sometimes I go travel alone because I like that too. So
yeah, some people can't imagine like traveling by themselves, and I don't mind it at all. I think it's a good experience to have with people, but it's also a good experience to travel by yourself.
It is.
I've gotten so accustomed to, like, my family was very small town. They couldn't afford vacation, which when we were younger we couldn't afford vacation, but their type of vacation is completely different from me. Like, I'm finding coffee shops and finding nature and finding cool things. My mom wants to go like to the biggest outlet malls and the shopping, and so it's all in like what you grow up learning. And I think that's awesome that your family just kind of instilled that in you, and just find things that you love and can't wait to see what you've done when you're 32. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I think it's you mentioned camping. I think I've spent more nights outside than I have in a house. So
Wow. So did your family, what got you into aviation? Where did that all come from?
So that actually came, my uncle, none of my parents fly, but my uncle always had a plane and took me up in, it was an old lake. And so I got to go fly around with him some, and it was just, I loved it. I loved being in the sky, and I just, I was just
How old were you when you started?
So I was 16. I actually, for one of my high school projects, I got my pilot's license. I was just exceptionally curious.
Yeah.
I got a pilot's license. I think my high school project, I probably downloaded the night before and turned it in,
Yeah.
I've
If I
learned
could
a lot.
go back, I would do things differently. And
I applied myself, right? But we're all here together.
Yeah. So what did your parents think? It sounds like they probably loved it because they sound like people that like to try things out and they love adventure. I guess they were super supportive.
Oh yeah, no, they love it, and they didn't know much about it, but they were like, okay, do you need me to help you study or something? And they'd read off some questions, and they were like, I have no clue what this is, but I was like, just keep reading. And so, we both learned together, and I think that was really cool. Whereas, they didn't know much about, just the general aviation, and now we're kind of immersed into it, and they're interested, and they love to come fly with me because they like to go places.
Right. So, now, do you have siblings?
It's a meshed family. So altogether, I do have 6 siblings, some being step and some being half siblings.
Yeah. Are any of them into flying?
No, pretty much nobody else in my direct family is into flying. But
bad face. Well, maybe that will change. Where are you in the like the birth order? Oldest, youngest, middle?
I am the baby, and it is the best spot to be in.
Yay.
Yeah, the baby's the best. Like, I'm the only girl and the baby, so I'm like,
it's great.
Yeah. Well, that's really awesome. So what are your goals with your career in aviation? Do you kind of like this sales thing that you're doing? I do. Any goals?
I love my position.
Yeah.
I'm having so much fun with it. And I think that especially when I'll be able to fly myself to some of these meetings and to just really, I don't know what else I could want.
Right.
I love that.
I don't either.
I'm so happy, and I think that's
your assistant. Can I?
Yeah. You need 2 assistants.
I'm her stylist. What have you got to offer?
Hey, look at this mane.
So, when you came to Nashville, was that kind of because I know? I guess you consider Christopher a client. I don't know. Is he a client?
He's a client, but he's also just a great guy. I mean, he represents Avadyn, and he also lets his tribe of followers and subscribers he shows them how easy it is to use our products, and I just always appreciated that, and that's how I got to be friends with them is just because they're good people.
Yeah, he does love that Avadyn. When we flew to Chattanooga, of course, a little bit about my airplane, and he was telling me what I needed to upgrade and what I needed to change, and he had me up front in his airplane showing me his all his Avadyn products, and they seemed pretty easy to use. What was the GPS unit called? What is that called?
So he has the Avadyn 550 and the Avadyn 540. Okay. So that's they're the IFD series. So we have they're all slide-in replacements for those 430s and 530s.
Yeah.
So they just use the same trays, and if you have one of those, it's a really easy upgrade to do and get
do
a
all
full solution.
Dealers or avionics shops have access to your products, or do they have to have some kind of relationship or contract or something like that?
Yeah, they have contracts with us. We have Yeah, so not everyone can sell Avadyn, but
Yeah.
as long as they give me a call, I can sure
Yeah.
discuss it with everyone.
Yeah.
Open
So
to that.
how, like if I want some to replace my 480 that people make fun of because it's really old, then how would I go about doing that?
So it's not a direct slide in, but
Yeah.
we both need to get on the phone and go through, just get on the trainer app and kind of get you going through it, decide between our 550, 540 or the 440. And so that's just whichever upgrade is best for you.
Right. And then you would tell me where to go near my home.
I would give you some suggestions of dealers, and it's also, I always encourage people to go get quotes, go to multiple people and just see what shop is gonna be the best for you. Some people are really talented at certain aircraft, and they've done a lot of work on them, so it all
Yeah.
depends on that.
I think
Finding
one of
the
the
best shop.
things I've learned or that I'm learning that I kind of want to pass on to other people is the difference between, so I had a Piper Archer, a certificated airplane, and now I have an experimental. And there's a lot of differences in the maintenance and what's required and how things are logged and, the minimum amount of work. Just everything is not the same. You don't have to do a lot of stuff on this particular kind of plane. So do your products and just in general avionics products, it seems like there's a certificated version and then a less expensive other version that you can use in experimentals. Can you explain that difference?
So Avadyn actually we only do certified equipment.
Okay.
But a lot of the, especially I know you have one of the RVs, a lot of RV people have Avadyn, and certified equipment it's definitely irreliable. I can't find the word for it, but it's just, we don't sell toys.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know I've gone online and looked at one of your competitors' like websites, and I guess your main competitors would be like Dynon and Garmin. Is that right?
Well, Dynon we actually work with. So Dynon came out with the Skyview, and I don't know if you saw AOPA. They have that RV10 up for sweepstakes.
Yeah.
It has the Dynon, and it has the IFDs in it. So that pairs directly with Avadyn. We actually love working with them.
Yeah.
So it's all about integration. I mean, that's a big part of it.
Well, this piece might work really well with this piece, and it might work better for you. And so having those relationships and being able to know what capabilities those other companies can help your equipment that you might not be succeeding in having that specific product. I mean, I think that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's say, I'm looking, let's just say I'm one of these competitors. So I'm like, okay, if I replace this, there's a certificated version, just a random number, $8,000. And then the non-certificated version is like $4,000. Why do you think there's the big difference?
Because to get those certificates.
Yeah.
And just that it's a product that's tested and that is warranted and it's going to work.
Yeah.
You don't want to be up in IMC IFR conditions and not have a certified product, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a little.
I guess it would be like, I'm thinking of in like medicine, there's like multivitamins that are, not proven on the shelf, and they can tell you that you're going to lose weight or something, but you can take them and you might get really sick or something because they haven't been tested. But then there's like proven.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm open to doing pretty much anything.
Yeah.
But when I'm flying, I just, I don't want to take any chances. I want my avionics to be dependable, and I want to know that it's going to work.
Yeah.
Ground safely, because I do want to be able to go live and have do my.
And if a company isn't putting their best foot forward and certifying their equipment, then maybe it's not the best equipment out there, and so that's why they're selling it at a lower price as well.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
I really don't. don't have too much insight on that, as just because I only work with the certified, so I'm not really familiar with the experimental equipment.
Right. So if you talk to someone, I mean, one of the more overwhelming things when I was looking for a new airplane was if the airplane needed new avionics. I mean, needed, let me define that. Needed, maybe not needed. Maybe they had the round gauges and they were fine, but I really wanted an upgraded kind of current modern dash. And people are telling me, well, it's going to cost you $40,000 to get all this done. It's so overwhelming that, it's hard for, what do you tell someone they're like, well, I don't really like this panel, but I don't know if I want to spend 40 grand. How can we do this in a way that's something I'm comfortable with? And how do you approach people when it just seems like, oh my God, that seems like so much money. I don't know if I want to do that. How do you
figure out what is important? So, I mean, some people that have this question, we end up getting to talk about the IFDs, and the IFD is just a really fully capable flight management system. And so a lot of times when people have, for instance, 172 with full steam gauges, so they'll do an upgrade with a 440. That would be the best valued product.
Yeah.
It's a smaller screen like the 430, but you can we have an iPad app. It's called the IFD 100 app, and it hooks directly to the 440. And so you would put your 440 in, and you would be able to see the screen and enter your flight plan on the iPad, and it talks to it via Wi-Fi. Yeah. So it's like having two screens and the iPad at the cost of an iPad. It's deciding what's important to you. And some people with planes, especially a lot of the flight school planes, it's having a 440 with an iPad, and it gets the job done. Not only gets the job done, but you can have full, iOS approaches, and it's a full system.
Yeah.
And it has
do you come up with like a plan sometimes, or would you recommend kind of a plan? Well, why don't you do this first, and then maybe change this in a few months or something, so it's a little bit more like bite-sized kind of pieces, I think.
We actually, just because of the installation process, most people, they kind of decide what's important and what they're going to want in the aircraft, whether it be for the next few years or until they sell it. And they usually go ahead and do the full install, just because tearing out your panel and redoing the panel and the installation is very time consuming. It's the installation cost. And so I would recommend, just deciding exactly, I'd be happy to go through it with you, but just deciding what's important and making a plan and putting that together, just because it will end up costing you more later on if you take out the panel again and do a full installation again.
That's true. Paying for the labor and everything can be very expensive.
It can be as expensive as the avionics themselves. I just saw a post on Facebook or something where somebody was, kind of arguing with an installer because it was costing, $4,000 or, whatever. And they're like, well, that's more than the avionics. And he's like, yeah, because it's, 40 hours of labor or, whatever it might be.
It really can be. And that's why these slide-in replacements have been such a blessing for so many, because it saves on the installation cost. It does.
Right. Yeah. Have you seen an airplane torn apart with all these wires like everywhere?
Oh yeah. Like I said, I'm marginally intelligent. I
would say you need to pay a lot. It's a huge job to do all that. It takes so much time.
I thought, like, with the experimental aircraft and people installing their own avionics and things, I know somebody was like, oh, well, this flight isn't working right, or this, error message is coming up. And I'm like, do you start over? Like, how do you know where you screwed up? Like, they're not going to be inverted as soon as you take off. Like, I just can't even fathom. The build process would be very amazing to do yourself, but I think I'd just hire somebody to definitely do all of the avionics. The things
I
that
know.
might keep me alive.
Those people are gonna be like geniuses.
Yeah.
When I get my I am not at the tech. When I get my first plane, I will be hiring somebody
Yeah.
to do my avionics install. Oh yeah.
So tell me, do you so what's it like for someone like you to date? I mean, you've got to be very intimidating to guys. They're like, oh my God, she's done everything.
It just takes the right guy. I actually, I met my now boyfriend in Alaska. So
nice.
Okay. He's also he's very cool.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And he has a similar job. So he works not in aviation, but he works remotely, and so he's always traveling around to dealers as well. And so we have a blast just being able to come home at the end of the week, and we go do all kinds of things on the weekend, camping or go travel, or we always have
like
something to do.
Your wife or something.
No, we have fun. And it's one of those things where I was never looking for anybody, but it's just when somebody right shows up, and that's what happened there. I was always very I still am just very independent. And it's all about just finding somebody who can
Was he living in
that.
Alaska, or was he working there, kind of like you were?
He was working there as well. So he fueled the float planes that would come over to my lodge.
Oh my goodness, yeah. I would love to fly in Alaska. Yeah, I'm sure. Did you do any flying while you were in Alaska?
Not PIC, but I did a couple of the guys that flew out there. They were open to just showing me. I mean, our company had an otter and a beaver and a 206, and so it was so much fun getting to ride around in those, and with your fly rod over your shoulder and just being able to jump out and on the river with the bears all around you. Oh, it was fun.
That sounds amazing.
I'm jealous right now.
Yeah.
I saw your picture as a fly fishing guide or something somewhere, and I was like, that inspired me to bring out my fly fishing.
I saw you with your rod the other day. That's exciting.
Yeah. I've been a couple times, and I've not been super successful. So I'm going to need you to come with me to Alaska.
It takes time, but just cast. Just sit in your yard and just cast.
The guy, my first guy that I had, he's like, you're lying. He's like, you've done this before. And I was like, I really haven't. Like, I bass fish a lot, but I caught one fish and I got so excited. I jerked it and I lost it by the time we got it in. I was like, oh no.
Oh no.
Sandra went with me one time. That was a disaster. Sandra's our girlfriend in California. She's been over.
Was that in Tahoe?
That was in Tahoe.
That's right. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. So tell me about one more thing before we go. I want to talk about this whole horse shooting thing that you do.
This whole horse shooting thing. Well,
yeah.
So you get on a horse, and it's called mounted shooting, and you have 2 single action Colt 45s, and you even have I can show you the little holsters.
Yeah, please do.
Actually, one moment.
At least we know she was wearing pants now.
Yeah.
So here they are. This is the holsters, and you put these around your waist.
Yeah.
And then here is the single action.
Yeah.
And you just put them in the holsters, and you have 5 rounds of black powder.
Yeah.
In each of them. And so there's 10 balloons, and you go around a course, and they have all different courses that are really fun, and you run as fast as you can because it's all timed.
Wow. Yeah.
And you shoot 5 balloons, and then you switch guns, and you shoot the other 5.
Yeah.
But it's not bullets, right?
Nope, it's just black powder. So it dissipates. It has it's kind of like a bird shot. It has a trajectory, and then it dissipates at about 15 feet. So you don't want to get too far away. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. How long have you been doing
I
that?
always saw that and I thought it was so cool, but I'm like, how are people like watching, not getting killed? You know,
Yeah.
with fire going off everywhere. And
Yeah, just powder. No, it is weird to be, I grew up with guns and gun safety, and
Yeah.
you're sitting in the stands and somebody's pointing a gun directly at you. So
it's a little scary.
shooting from a horse.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
it is a little.
How do you get your horses like acclimated to shooting, or are they just around it for so long? I mean,
So I just started a new one. So I've been doing. I did mounted shooting when I was about 8 years old. So I've been doing it a while.
Yeah.
And then I actually just started a new horse. And so you just start out slow. You shoot behind, you're on them and you just shoot behind you so that they can't hear it that much and they don't see it. So they just get used to the sound at first. And then you just start you do it over and over and do slow patterns and just start shooting from each side. They get used to it pretty quick there. It took him about 2 weeks and he's getting pretty good. So
yeah. You had like a big belt buckle thing on in Nashville. Was that like something you won?
Yeah. So that's the cool kid thing to do when you win something in the horse world is you get a big old plate belt buckle.
So what we do that for aviation things? Can I
know. We need something like that.
I think aviation totally needs a big belt buckle. I would love that.
Yeah. I actually bought a belt buckle at the Reno Air Races when I went last year.
Did you? Oh.
It's really cool.
Yeah. I haven't seen you wear it.
I don't have a belt to put it on.
Oh.
I don't wear belts.
We need to get you a belt.
My thought was to make it cute. You're going to have to bring me a buckle.
Yeah. Do you have a collection?
I have a few from doing a few different things. I grew up doing a lot on horses. I did jumping and barrel racing and cutting where you're working with the cows and roping and I even fly fish off of my horse. And so I do everything that I can do on a horse. I tried to do. Try to make all the hobbies have to collide.
Yeah.
Flying horses. Here we go.
Yeah. Now we got to figure out a way. You're going to have to get a really big airplane to get a horse on.
That's the dream.
Yeah. All right. Well, Macy, thank you so much for joining us. I know you had a call before us and you've got a busy schedule, so I appreciate doing that.
Made my day. This was fun. Thank you.
Yeah. I hope our paths will cross again soon. And you can help me try to figure out, because I do need to get a new GPS thing in my plane soon. So hopefully you can help me figure out what I need and we can work together and I can become a customer and then you can travel with me.
Yes. Sweet. No, that would be so much fun. Just give me a call anytime.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Well, this has been Cockpits and Cocktails with flyGIRL Kelley, Macy Dan, and
Fly Alyssa.
Yay. Thanks for joining us. And please like, subscribe, all that good stuff to the Cockpits and Cocktails podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts. Cheers.
Cheers.
You've been listening to Cockpits and Cocktails with your hosts Natalie flyGIRL Kelley and Fly Alyssa. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and join us next time for a lively discussion on aviation, aerospace, the air travel industry, and all things flight related. Aerospace and the air travel industry.
Let it go to my head, I should